We're looking through the wrong end of the telescope. 7 different NBA champs since 2010. When we didn't have player mobility, the Celtics won 11 in 13 years. When college basketball didn't have a transfer portal, UCLA won 10 in 12 years. I think the league is fine. I'm not bothered by Kawhi taking meetings. I mean, what do you make of the whole Kawhi situation?
All right, so I think your point about since the super team era has begun, how many different champions we've had is a startling one. I'll take it back 2 years earlier. The original super team was KG, Pierce, Ray Allen in 2008. That super team beget the next super team, LeBron and Miami, which then beget the next super team, which is the Golden State Warriors, which could then beget this super team. So from 08 to now, you're right, 8 different champions if we take it back 2 more years. Now, I have to be consistent here, though. I do like the air of suspense. I did not like knowing the end of the story before I started the book, and that's how I felt each of the last 3 years, even though this year the book ended way different than I would have expected. I think what is best for the NBA is for Kawhi Leonard to go to Toronto or the Clippers. If he does that, you have 9 teams that credibly believe they can win the title. So for the league, for the entire fan base, to give us a feeling we haven't really had in this league since maybe 2005, 2006, that would be the best. But for Kawhi, the best thing is to go to the place he originally asked to be traded to that now also employs the best player ever and the best big currently in the game. For Kawhi, he will not get the type of blowback Kevin Durant got because the Lakers didn't just knock his team out of the playoffs. He's already won a championship. He's not in the same spot KD is. So as a fan, I think what's best for the league is he stays in Toronto or goes to the Clippers. For Kawhi, it's hard to construct the argument why he wouldn't go to the Lakers and go win 2, 3, 4 championships.
I think it's funny. LeBron, I always said that Magic saved the league with Bird. Michael made it global, and LeBron made it mobile. Now, LeBron, of all those players, got heat for player mobility. He created, quote, a spectacle. I didn't think it was a spectacle. Many did by the Boys and Girls Club check and all that stuff, the decision. Doesn't Kawhi sort of validate LeBron? Like the first person to create anything always gets blowback. Politician, historical figure, the first person to challenge authority. So LeBron was the first person, gets crushed for it. Kawhi's making a spectacle. It's 3 days. He runs the world. I'm on my phone all day. Doesn't a decision, even Kawhi, validate LeBron?
This whole era does. This entire decade. At the time, people thought that the decision ruined LeBron's image and ended Maverick Carter's career. Flash forward a decade, Maverick Carter's a mogul in his own right in the business world. LeBron's en route to being a billionaire, is already the greatest player of all time, and if you don't think that yet, talk to me in a couple years when he's got a couple more rings. Like, no. It made it to where not only do players have power, but where Jimmy Butler can turn down $190 million and we don't bat an eye. It is to where Kevin Durant, coming off a popped Achilles, can turn down nearly $250 million to go to Brooklyn. And we say, oh yeah, that makes sense. We are here to watch the athletes. Owners can be incompetent. Owners can be cheap. Owners can have their own issues. They never should have had the power. They always did. LeBron changed it all. That is, as much as anything on the court, his and his group's lasting legacy, and it is the tide that has raised all boats when we have a world where Tobias Harris, a nice player, and Chris Middleton, a nice player, just signed for a combined $333 million. That does not happen without the interest generated by the decision, that original super team in Miami, and everything that's happened in this past decade.
Yeah, it's like Moneyball. Everybody banged on Moneyball. Billy Beane got crucified. If you don't have analytics now, you're a laughingstock in the sport. The first person to do anything to challenge authority and a culture gets blowback, and everybody copies not long after that.
Colin, you're out, just real quick, you're out on the West Coast. There's a word for this. They're disruptors.
Yes.
If you're a disruptor, people are afraid of you. They are threatened by you, and they try to crush you. That's what the entrenched agent, media, team, power structure tried to do to Rich Paul and Maverick. They couldn't do it to LeBron because he's on the court, but that's what they tried to do to those guys, and they had to get through it to the other side. And now we are now in an era where everyone is embracing, or at least has to begrudgingly embrace, what it's become.
I like bravado. I've said this before. My favorite college football teams of all time were the Miami Hurricanes with Jimmy Johnson and USC with Pete Carroll. And they had a lot of bravado and a lot of chest puffing. Alabama to me is great but boring. I am okay with a little bravado. And in soccer, where you rarely score, and the World Cup's every 4 years, I'm okay with stuff. What do you make of this? The women are arrogant. What do you make of these claims?
Okay. All right, first of all, no one is actually bothered by this except for Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan, zip it. No one's cared what you have to say for 7 years. But for the people pretending, I love this. The act like you've been there before in an event that happens 2.5 times a decade. But set that aside. Everyone is just concerned trolling. Oh, what about my little kids? I've said this to you before. I will say it again. Here's what you say to your little kids that now want to rip their shirt off or celebrate or mock their opponent after they score a goal. Listen, sweetheart, here's the rules. When your games are on Fox, watched by 40 million people, do whatever you want. As long as your games are at 8:30 in the morning on field 7 and there's orange slices involved, show some decorum. It's simple. They're parenting 101 done. This is great. And by the way, the targeted needle celebration, I love even more. I wish more NFL teams would bring this out, where you're going after your specific opponent, not just your own little dance move. And I love that we did it to England. And I know, Colin, your wonderful late mother was British, so I hope you don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah.
But England, you've had to hold this L for 240 years. Tomorrow's the July 4th in this country. We've been whooping you via sea, via land, and now in your sport, you got to hold this L, England. Thank you, Alex Morgan.
Thank you. I'm so happy for the new Nick Wright. I just look at you.
Thank you. Well, if you're real happy for me, Colin, then help me make a little more money and bet with me with your ridiculous the Warriors can win the title next year thing. Clay's not going to the Warriors, Willie Cauley-Stein, Kevon Looney, that incredible tandem. It's a ludicrous take. They'll be fine. They'll be a good team. They ain't going to win no title next year, and you know it.
Nick Wright, have a great 4th with your family. Good.
You too, man.
All right, good seeing you, bud. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.